This should go driver's side stationary seat.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Oh, look at that. We gotta have
To your collection.
We'll presume that this box was delivered first. Front brake hose. Nice. The plugs for the inspection plugs. Bearing seal, outer bearing, another brake hose. Oh, these are the wheel cylinders for the rear brakes. Adjuster nut for the emergency brake lever, another wheel seal. This is like a childhood fantasy of mine, because I always wanted a brand new wheel cylinder for my Volkswagen and I never could afford one. It actually comes with brake pads pre-installed. This is like full circle for me. You have any idea how badly I wanted one of these when I was in my teens? New bolts in there too, which is very, very nice. I've got front rotors. Oh no, these are rear.
Nice.
Another childhood dream fulfilled. Rear wheel bearing. Yeah, another seal, another inner bearing. That was a fun box. Box number 2. And you guys out there in YouTube land are going to be lucky enough, packing slip, to watch us install all these here things. Brake shoes for the rear. See that knurled roundy thing that I showed you? That's what runs that, which is the emergency brake adjuster. Whoa, Brembo. Only the best for the
Volkswagen, yep.
Yeah, these are nice.
Oh, it's a huge cosmetic win, yeah. We'll never need to change them.
We have 2 sets of brake shoes. You guys want to help me set this in there and see if it'll...
Did you paint this dashboard?
I did. You like it?
Yeah.
I think it looks okay. If the client likes it.
Oh, yeah, that's great. So there's a, I think that's PB, as always.
PB Blaster. Can we get a case of PB Blaster, please? Because I use a lot of that. What with the factory? Oh God, the factory armrest. Okay. Oh God, that's ideal. So we want to bring it in, so that'll clear the armrest. So let's look and see how we are on
Batteries.
the batteries.
Nah, I think that's fine. That's great, yeah.
Everything is laid out in place where it belongs, where it needs installed. Somehow, Ward, we wound up with 3 wiper arms and just 1 blade. I'll trade you a wiper arm, but we need a wiper blade.
That's really weird.
Although those tires are...
I think they didn't look too bad. There's one that was...
I mean, they're dry rotted as...
Thanks.
But I don't know if we should just go ahead and get new tires.
You know what I would do?
What's that?
List them on the marketplace, make a couple $100, get you a brand new set of Beetle wheels with some brand new, banging new tires.
So you think we should get new wheels and tires?
Oh, yeah.
Do we want to do new shocks?
Oh, these look old, huh?
Yeah. Oh. We still need to find an old starter. And these starters aren't easy to find, are they? Anybody got a starter that they don't need? So we're going to leave this, we're just going to bolt this bad boy right down and build the platform around it. Because really, we need the sealed box right along here. Just enough room for the tubing. The tubing is very flexible, so we'll be able to loop it around. and then we'll just have a trap door that lifts up. That'll be just the right height so it'll open up without, you know, hitting the roof. Square tubing, you know, essentially like this. And that way, just attach it to the bottom of the van. So we're gonna need some aluminum. I'm gonna go ahead and spray some PV Blaster and Roadmatic Plus gas-charged shock absorbers. Will give us our smooth rod that we require for this electro van conversion. Yep, looks like a direct replacement for the rear. Lock washers. You don't want your cap screws falling back out. We decided to do water cooled, so we're going to go ahead and order the water cooled system. I spoke with the tech support guy at EV West, and he said Tesla specs that these batteries are in a hermetically sealed case, so we don't get any dust or any problems. So we're going to go ahead and build an aluminum sides and cover for it. We've decided the placement for all of the electronics that are within the battery box. I'm going to go ahead and start knocking up the cables. But what happened here is that we took so much of the weight from the rear and brought it right into the middle belly of the van. So this thing's going to ride great, and we need good shocks. This stuff is incredibly difficult to cut unless you know what you're doing. This is from when I wear my plumbing hat. This is actually a PEX tubing cutter, and if you're very careful, just turn this slightly like that, and look how cleanly it cuts that insulation. And you get out here to the end, and you just give it a little squeeze, boom. But see how nice that was? A little twist, fiddle with it a little bit, and operate the hand lever. That's a good crimp. Put your shrink wrap over that on there. I like to use my heat gun on high. Gets the job done quicker. There. So that is 1/2 of a cable. All right. Wait for this. There it is, very, very nice. So we'll go ahead and shrink wrap this one there. Cover it up. A little bit of an OCD thing, but let's see here. And that'll work. We'll determine that as the right length of cable, and of course we're doing everything in series. That should do it. Let's see how it looks. It kind of held its shape. The negative is on the left and the positive is on the right. That's about as short of a run of cable as we want to do, but as I had said just a little bit ago, the shorter the better. Found a location, and we're going to go ahead and drill the holes to run the wires through the rear firewall and into the compartment where the controller is going to be. So as you can see here, that little hole is where the wires are going to protrude through the rear firewall. I want to keep that entry point inside the battery box, so that way there's a direct exit, and then we'll shield the wires as they come up through this hole. But that'll give us some flexibility for being able to move the wires around and such, because once they're back here, and we get all of the components installed, then we'll be able to seal that access port. That actually is very convenient right there, that access port, because that is essentially where all of the wires will get to run. And then I'll probably enclose the underside of that with an aluminum box, just to keep any road debris and everything away from the wires, and we'll also run the smaller wires in a conduit. So I'm going to go ahead and drill the 2 holes for the main battery cables through there, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, so essentially the battery box edge on the passenger side here next to the sliding door is going to be just outside of the loops of these wires. So that gives us a straight line back to about here. So if we run the negative cable straight back from this battery through here, and then the positive cable straight back from the fuse block there, that gives us a nice straight run for the wires, and that should work out well. High strength steel. I'll be back. Well, so we have all of the wires roughed in. That will be inside the battery box. That's our negative or positive conductor running underneath the jumper wires. And there's our fuse. And then we have the negative and the positive with our watertight connectors running through the firewall. And then because we're not exactly sure where the fuse box is going to go, probably there in that general vicinity. And then, it's a little dark, but you can see this access hole that I brought the wires up through. I have them labeled positive and negative. Left plenty because you never know. I have them marked. So once we decide exactly the placement of the battery box, then we will make all the connections and get ready to run the small gauge wiring. So you see I made up the cables, and this is really kind of neat. So when you do the negative here and positive there, 71.6 volts, 23.5 per aluminum railing spindles. And that'll fit right in there, and that'll just sit right on there, just right as rain. And then get another set of these for on top, give us our base for the lid to sit on. The wheel bearings were so nice, I didn't even change the races. I don't think the thing's ever been driven, but I did put the new seal in. It only took about 2 hours to do this whole corner. So, new brake line, new shocks, new wheel bearings, inner and outer, new seal.
Beautiful.
Bolts are, I have to cut this one off.
You got to use the new one because it's the right size. But
Well,
you got to
yeah,
cut
as
it to
far
the
as
length of the old one.
Yeah, that's what I think I'm going to have to do. They're extremely handy. So, yeah, if you cut it off with a bandsaw, it cuts clean through the threads. You don't have to, worry about boogering up the threads. There it is. Ward, do you want to go run through the steering wheel there real quick so I can verify the action of this whole corner? Yep, just go lock to lock.
Great.
Man, there's like...
Now look, they got this little special.
Yeah, it's their name of the car.
Those wheels and tires are just absolutely spectacular.
I'm a fan, man, for sure.
Were they really expensive?
No, I don't remember, but they were not bad.
That is going to look really, really nice.